Jon Impemba.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook Podcast here. We are bringing you our first look at Wednesday's 8-game main slate. James got a little split slate here on a Wednesday. DraftKings giving us a 4-game slate. They're giving us a 2-game afternoon like turbo slate, and then they're giving us 8 games on the main. So if you're looking to get your action in here on a Wednesday, plenty of opportunity for you to do so here on DraftKings, even though they're also adding some new contests. So we're looking at the main slate here, the $5.55 single entry toy bat. They got a $44. Was it the wood bat? And then they have a higher entry contest.
The aluminum bat.
The aluminum bat. All single entry contests here. So kind of cool. James and I like single entries. We like these 3-entry max contests. So I imagine this is probably a one-day special, but wouldn't mind seeing more of these contest types released out there to the public. So should be a good slate. Like I said, we got 8 games. We got some pretty decent pitching matchups on this slate to target here as well. Before we do jump into the DraftKings slate, though, shout out to Real Time Fantasy Sports. RT Sports has their DFS Pick'em contest out there. You see myself, you see Howard Bender putting out RT Sports DFS Pick'em videos during the day, and then you come back and see the live stream at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Myself and Grande over here giving you our favorite picks for the night. We're sweating out a 40Xer for Tuesday's main slate. We'll see if we can come through with that. Be nice for everybody there, but go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users who sign up, we get a 100% deposit match up to $200. So go check out rtsports.com. A lot of great things going on over there. If you're not into the DFS Pick'em games, don't worry. You can use your deposit match on their best ball contest as well, the Fantasy Football Best Ball Championship contest, and then their seasonal fantasy football contest, all available right now to be drafted. NFL season quickly approaching, Hall of Fame game on Thursday, first football game of the year. So get excited for that. James, done with the RT Sports here, talking a little now. DraftKings main slate, 8 games. What's Vegas looking at for us here?
Yeah, so Vegas is interesting. The best pitching matchup of the day is clearly Garrett Cole versus Shane McClanahan. So as expected, 7.5 over under in that one. Probably the top 2 Cy Young Award candidates for the AL at current moment. Depending on who you talk to, one will be ahead of the other. But 7.5 implied runs there. Slate high 10 implied runs in Mets Royals. Interesting note though, John. Alec Marsh was expected to start.
Sure.
He pitched an inning on Tuesday. So I'm curious to see if it was just to get him work. Because people throw in between starts. It's not like they don't. So we'll see. He threw 1 inning on Tuesday. We'll see if he makes this start, or we'll see what Kansas City does overall.
Yeah, very odd decision to use the expected Wednesday starter here.
Yeah. And then 9.5 implied runs in Cubs Reds. That has it's about double the amount of runs was scored on Tuesdays. As there's 18 currently. As we sit here and record. So
a lot of runs scored. Poor Ben Lively out there. Maybe not so lively right now. 4 innings, nice. 13 hits, 13 runs allowed. Ballooned his ERA to 5.20 on the year. So
only 5.20.
Tough night for that, man. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's talk pitching. Garrett Cole at home against Tampa Bay Rays. Joe Ryan on the road against the St. Louis Cardinals. Logan Webb at home against the D-backs. Kodai Senga on the road against the Kansas City Royals. Shane McClanahan on the road against the Yankees. Your top 5 starters here. Do you find yourself gravitating towards Ryan or Cole? Or is there other starters maybe a little bit cheaper that you have some interest in?
Oh, I mean, Shane McClanahan, 9,300. Is as good as it's going to get. I know he hasn't been great, but the Yankees once again just sucked on Tuesday until the 9th inning where they scored all their runs. He is number 1. 9,300 is too cheap. And again, I understand he hasn't been the same guy since the IL stint, but he's 11-1 with 118 strikeouts and 111 innings this year. 11 wins, 1 loss. Like Tampa Bay's favorite again. I love McClanahan. I love Senga here against the Royals. The Royals are a bad team.
That's what I'm looking at. The
he,
strikeouts for Senga can be pretty elite at times this year.
yeah. The only thing you're not wrong about the strikeouts. The only thing I'd say in terms of like Senga maybe not being as is the road home splits for
Sure.
him. He's been really poor on the road. Now fantasy production's still been fine, 17 fantasy points per game, and the Royals are terrible, but that would be like my only cause for concern. I'm okay getting to Garrett Cole because he's been so good in his last 3 starts. I mean, really so good for 2 months
Yeah.
straight.
Rays have had his number this year. 7 earned over 10 innings on the season.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so he got shelled in 1 start, and then the next start only 2 earned runs. Now
sure.
he only made it through 5 innings, but he did labor through that start. So I largely agree. This is also a different pitcher than he was earlier in the year. I mean,
Agreed.
he's been so good since the start of June. He's just not getting wins because the Yankees aren't winning games. Joe Ryan, fine. Logan Webb.
Joe Ryan turning into our new Lance Lynn, right? Like
Yeah, dude.
elite strikeouts, 7-10, 7-10, 9-5, 9-7, but home runs, man. 2-2, 1-2, 1-5 against Atlanta.
Yeah.
Pretty ugly there. And then you have Logan Webb coming off of a start against Boston where he pitched pretty well. He got really just 1 big hit off of him. And then Costas homered, but been okay for the most part. A couple of tough starts here, but at home against Arizona, probably a no-go for you, right?
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Dylan C stays in Chicago. Any interest at 8,400?
I like the price. Texas offense slowed down a little bit. I'm sure he'll get a lot of ownership, and I'm sure we'll be on the opposite side of things. Like we typically I mean, you are not a Dylan Cease fan, at least this year. The numbers are back you up. He hasn't been like great. The strikeouts have definitely been better lately. 75 strikeouts in 56 innings is elite. Like that's but in those 10 starts, he's 1-1. Like he doesn't get decisions because his offense doesn't score for him, and like he does have blowups. So it's whatever.
We have yet another lefty on the mound against Baltimore.
Coming off his
2 starts against Baltimore this year, 5 earned, 9 over 9 innings here, 6 walks. Do you think I'll get Baltimore at 4% again, James, or will more people be on the Orioles in this matchup?
I think you will, because when we get to the bottom of this pitching tier, it is disgusting. So probably, honestly, you might actually get them low.
I look forward to it. All right, so then talking to you about the value. Any value here that you have any interest in? Is like Dane Dunning appealing in this spot, or Liberatore against Minnesota? Strikeout upside, but home runs allowed. Like anybody here?
So Grayson Rodriguez, if we classify him as a value,
sure.
I told you I was interested in that New York start that was going to rain, and then I pivoted off of him, and he played through it, and he looked great. And now that's 2 starts in a row versus Tampa and New York. Toronto is obviously reeling offensively. No Bichette. Like they are Springer's 0 for his last 30. Like it's not a great thing going on in Toronto. So I would get to Grayson. It's probably Dunning by default. Look. He had that one random start against Detroit where you're like, oh, you're right. He can strike people out. But that is such an anomaly when you look at the rest of his campaign. So, I'm not saying he couldn't do it against the White Sox. We saw 11 strikeouts over 6 innings for Andrew Heaney on Tuesday. And, they're different pitchers. Obviously, Heaney misses a lot of bats, and Dunning keeps the ball on the ground and doesn't, there's a lot of walks. And, by default, he's probably the best value, and he's probably going to be popular. I don't know
if he gives us 4 strikeouts again, give me the Tampa Bay start, right? But with a win, and he gives you 19 fantasy,
almost 20,
right?
yeah.
So it's doable. 19 down here against Boston. I mean,
the 7 innings is a little might be pushing it a little bit. He's only done it 3 times this year, and he's made 15 starts. So,
Sure.
like, probably realistically, which is close, like, how about more like the Boston start,
Sure.
where it's 6 innings? Because I don't know if, I mean, consistently hasn't been going 7, right?
Right. That's fair. So yeah, I think that's probably a ceiling for him. I would agree. It's $6,100 against a White Sox lineup, not all that great for sure. I just mentioned Minnesota because the strikeout upside. Obviously, he was terrible against Miami,
Sure.
but he's flashed some potential at times this year. So,
Yeah.
prospect wise, a guy that's supposed to be pretty good. But we're not playing Harris or Williamson.
No, no.
Smiley against Cincinnati.
I guess you could. I guess you could. I don't know if
Yeah,
we
you don't have to. I'm
want
just
to.
been throwing him out there. So I think
The
largely,
pitch count. If you look at the pitch count, look at the pitch count for Smiley.
yeah,
79, 61 his last 2
yeah,
starts.
yep, I agree. We didn't talk Gonsolin. Now, Lance Lynn's the most rostered pitcher on the slate for Tuesday, not named Spencer Strider. We've been touting the fact that all of Gonsolin's sabermetric stats suggest that he was going to start getting hit. He has started getting hit pretty badly,
Yep.
but is Oakland the cure-all?
Maybe, but it's been really bad outside of one Mets start in his last 1, 2, 3, 6 of his last 7 starts have been 4 earned runs or
Yeah.
less, including Kansas City in there, Toronto, and Toronto can't hit anything right now. Like, I don't know, maybe like not to stack Oakland, but maybe just a stay away.
Sure.
We'll see. We'll have to do a little more. We'll talk about it on the live show more.
Sure.
I'm gonna be undecided until then.
Okay. Let's get into hitters then. Give me your top priced hitters for the infield that we're looking at to use in this situation.
Mookie Betts against Hogan Harris, 400 ISO against left-handed pitching. You've mentioned ad nauseum this year.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to see what happens with Oakland because they were going to start Harris last time, and then he was a bulk reliever, and then he only threw 51 pitches. He didn't really get into a lot of trouble. He gave up 1 home run, and then they took him out of the game. So that remains to be seen what happens there. But obviously, anyone Dodger related in the infield is really, really, really appealing. How about some Dansby Swanson, $4,400
today? I mean, for Tuesday.
Dude, back-to-back games with home runs, and now has 5 home runs over his last 7 games. I mean, are you kidding me? Dansby Swanson, like, again, he was a much improved offensive player last year, and he has been getting better offensively. Not stealing any more bases, but the Cubs' offense has just been obliterating baseballs. Bellinger, we know, hits lefties extremely well, $4,900 at first base as well. Heimer Candelario, John, sorry to steal your thunder, 4,200. We'll see where they bat him against left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
They've hit him 6th against a righty on Tuesday. We'll see where they bat him against a lefty.
If you're not in on Smiley, the Reds obviously have guys that can hit left-handed pitching. Tyler Stevenson homer tonight. Spencer Steer had a couple good hits. We know McLean. CES has a lot of power waiting to come around. Ellie, so could see the Reds kind of come back a little bit. They have 5 runs on their own tonight. It's only the 6th inning. There's 18 runs scored in that game in the 6th inning right now. So could see both of these offenses have some good days again.
Yeah, I agree. How about looking at? I mean, against Grayson Rodriguez with Merrifield, if you want to go back to that, he continues to rake everything in sight. Would you play anyone against Garrett Cole?
Probably not.
No, right?
Probably not. But again, the Rays have guys that are heating up and have had seemingly his number this year. So
they're hitting so many home runs. They're hitting so many home runs.
And then I'm just gonna shout out the Baltimore guys, right?
Yep.
Adley, big night tonight. Mountcastle, big night tonight.
Huge night.
Westbrook had a couple hits and a run scored. Gunnar Henderson homered off a lefty, so not even really worried about the Kikuchi thing there. Really looking at Baltimore again tonight.
As you should. And I was gonna mention Mountcastle. It was on the tip of my tongue, and I was like, you know what? John would be very upset if I
You just
stole his
stole him away from me?
if I stole the Mountcastle Thunder away from you. What do you make of so I don't know if you saw this Arizona kid that's starting
Sure.
Kecchione over 2 home runs per 9 innings and now is in the PCL and it's a terrible matchup or a terrible ballpark to hit in. Like Wilmer Flores, if we're talking about value, $3,200 makes a lot of sense for San Francisco. Again, their offense has been terrible and whatnot, but like if this Kecchione guy is going to be Slade, what a name, dude! Slade Kecchione, 6.38 ERA, 2 home runs per nine
Sure.
innings.
So you're in on the Giants?
I mean, like, I don't know if it's a full stack situation, but like Wilmer Flores,
They sent
3,200 has
Luciano
no.
down to AAA today, so
Yeah, unlucky. There's not like a lot that I would like. Like Lamonte Wade, Wilmer Flores both only play first base. I'm obviously going to play Wilmer in that situation. He's cheaper and he's
right.
better. And JD Davis can't really hit. Is Thairo Estrada expected back? Rehab
Yeah, he's
assignment.
going to rehab. Yeah.
So we're gonna get him back soon. Just throwing specifically Wilmer Flores' name out there because he's in a really good spot.
That's fine. That's fine by me. If you were going somebody against Garrett Cole, Brandon Lau, probably a really good spot to do.
That was my
Your guy,
thought as well.
Yeah.
Him and Paredes just for one-off home runs.
Sure.
Like that's probably if I were to play anyone against Garrett Cole, it's one Ray that's gonna hit me a home run.
And then with another lefty on the mound here, Harris, Rosario hit cleanup tonight for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
so if he's hitting cleanup again at $3,900 against Harris, you're probably going to want to get him in your Dodgers lineup.
Yeah, that's a great call. Especially, I mean, like, I can't fault them for hitting fourth with like JD banged up and whatnot, but like, it was surprising to see him hitting fourth. Like, I didn't expect it that fast, at least, but yeah, if he's hitting in the middle of the lineup, I think regardless where he's hitting, he's probably in play.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Anybody else?
No, let's head to the outfield.
All right. Moving on over to the outfield, then we know there's a lot of top end guys here. 8 games. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, we talked about second base. Lewis Robert, Corbin Carroll, Arozarena homered on Tuesday. Dolis homered on Tuesday. How are you breaking out this top end outfield rank?
I mean, I mentioned Mookie in the infield. Yeah. He would be number 1 in the outfield as well. Luis Robert, always live for a home run, even against Dane Dunning, who's allowing a few more home runs here and there. Probably not getting to Arozarena. I guess he would crack the list as like one of the guys you could play as one-off, but he's coming into Tuesday. He was 2 for his last 35. I don't really want to play Randy Arozarena. Adolis has a home run. I kind of like Buxton against Liberatore. Buxton's been a little better, hits in 4 straight games. Had 3 doubles the other day against Kansas City. Nothing that really stands out until you really get to Bellinger, who hits lefties as well as he hits righties. Again, another mention in the infield, but home run and a stolen base on Tuesday, a bunch of hits. Like, dude, the Cubs offense is just in a different world right now. They're just on a different planet.
Yeah, 100%. Moving down the list here, again, Rayleigh and Lowe. If you're going against Garrett Cole, power in Yankee Stadium, left-handed power in Yankee Stadium there. Santander at 4,400, and it's too cheap. Too cheap against lefty. I feel like people will be on it, right?
Right? They should be.
Right?
They should be.
His numbers against lefties are really good.
They should be.
This is why I think people will be on Baltimore, is because they had such a good game today.
Recency bias?
Like, people are going to see that Mountcastle and Santander both had 28, 30 fantasy points, and I have to think that they're going to go back to the well. Which is fine. I probably will join them. But, if they don't, more for me and you, because we're going to be in. We're going to be playing them. So, all right, guys, around 4K and low. Anybody else in this range?
Eloy 4K, Jock Peterson 4K, Conforto 37, Talkman. He might even be out of the lineup. He had a huge game. He had 30 plus fantasy points on Tuesday. We'll see if he's in the lineup. Lefty. Can't play Tommy Pham here. He's not on that team anymore. Maybe you could play him in the Arizona lineup.
We'll see.
Austin Hayes, $3,300. He hit fourth. I know he hasn't been doing great, but you could play Austin Hayes. Seiya, this is a better split for Seiya, $3,200. He's been slumping, but he'll hit in the middle of the Cubs lineup. He gets a lefty.
Could maybe he started on the 31st. He's played 7 innings. Interesting.
Maybe
he could.
Yeah, maybe we get a story back.
Back. I'd be in on that.
Yeah, if he's not coming back unless he can steal bases, they don't even know there's no like other purpose to have him there.
Injury.
Right.
He homered and solo base at AAA because
All right, we're good. We're good.
So,
we're back.
Hayes 3,300. Did you mention?
Yep.
Okay. Rooker there. You mentioned Seiya. Obviously, I heard that one. Let's see. Anybody else down here for you?
We didn't mention. Where's Chris Taylor? 3,200 lefty matchup there.
Leotes and Janikowski are 29-28. I know it's ceased, but pretty cheap.
Yeah, if you're playing Texas as a contrarian stack, that could work. Willie Castro, if he's in the lineup, probably just steals another 3 bags, like just because that's what Willie Castro apparently does. Did the Cubs? Oh, the Cubs traded Nelson Velasquez. I didn't realize he was in that trade. Okay.
It's probably it, right?
Looking down.
What's Minnesota going to do with their? I mean, their lineup's so lefty heavy. Like, who are they going to throw? Who's really putting out there?
Michael Taylor.
Yeah, I guess Michael Taylor against them could be a thing.
He kind of hasn't played it.
Fairchild played tonight for Cincinnati. They might play him. I mean, he was usually only hitting against lefties.
Yeah. He'll get what, 2 at bats?
Yeah,
he'll get his 2 at bat. He'll get 2 at bats, right?
Pull him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for outfield. Let's build a lineup for the friends tuning in. I'm gonna start us off with Santander or Mountcastle. We'll go in that direction here. I'll just start off with my 2 favorite players, and we'll build out pitching. Senga, McClanahan, just double it up. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's double it up. Let's double it up right away. We're also getting like pretty cheap Baltimore guys here too.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Do you want to just? I mean, Hayes sucked really bad today. I don't know if we want to go back to that well, but
we'll work our way.
Okay. Yanni versus lefty Williamson.
Yeah,
$3,100.
Yep, dude. That's the cheap team we need. I think we probably just play cheap cubbies.
Okay, so
here, like Seiya or Hap.
Dansby at short.
Yep.
Dansby at short at 44.
Yep. Let's play Dansby. And then Hap or Seiya in the outfield.
Zimer, 42.
Ooh.
Dude, their lineup is so tasty now that Candelario
is there. So good, dude. It's so good. It's such a good lineup.
Where's Westberg? 26 again? 29?
He is free.
He's $3,700 outfielder.
Ian Happ, 34. Do full three Baltimore.
We have 4
Cubs. We have 5 Cubs. I forgot we had Yan go. I'm sorry.
We don't have to play Yanni. We can pull him.
No, he gets a lefty for sure. Play Yanni. He's gonna hit like 5th. They hit this guy. Conforto. True. Conforto 37 against the guy allowing 2 home runs per 9 innings in AAA.
37.
37. Yeah, on the button.
So that's a quick look here at a lineup you guys can build out for this 8-game main slate. James and I, of course, will be back live 5 p.m. Eastern time, answering your questions, helping you guys build lineups, giving you the latest news updates that are happening around the MLB. Thankfully, we've made it through the MLB trade deadline really unscathed. We didn't have to worry about any major names offensively switching teams. Verlander and Scherzer is about it for the high-profile pitching guys. But overall, not too bad. So our example lineup here is our first look podcast on this 8-gamer. Kodai Senga, Shane McClanahan, Jan Gomes, Ryan Mountcastle, Jake Westberg, Yeimer Candelaria, Dansby Swanson, Anthony Santander, Cody Bellinger, Michael Conforto. We're going Cubs, Baltimore stack with a one-off, Conforto, double spend up, Senga, McClanahan in their spots against the Royals and the Yankees. James and I will be back later. Get us in Discord. Get us